Hi, I just wanted to go over a couple of quick things here. Um, I know this week we're on this week here. That means not much is going to go on this week. And this week we'll be picking up on social implications of IT, computer limitations, privacy and security. So, if you look at all of the stuff that's remaining to fit in for the last part of the exam, obviously for your final exam, you're going to have section 1, section 2, and this is where your second chance policy will also kick in. Um, so if you do better on the final exam for these sections, then what you originally got for these hourly exams, you'll be able to apply that score. So that should be a good thing. Um, and then if you look at here, you've got basically spreadsheets, right? So starting from here all the way up to where we are now, it's basically the different spreadsheet stuff. So, we've been covering them for the videos, the recitations and whatnot, and your assignments, obviously. I'm gonna go through those pretty quickly. If there's things in there that you have questions on, feel free to send me an email, and I'll try to cut some quick videos over this break that you can refer to help you with your studying. And really, for this last part over here, social implications of IT, this kind of really brings us back to more of like what's in the book. Kind of almost like your history class or something like that. So uh, you're probably going to pick up most of your stuff there. I'll run through the lecture and cover those points, but obviously you're going to have a lot more detail from your books. So you should take a look at the reading in your book for this last section here. But everything else will be about Excel, obviously. So, do let me know. I can try to cover any questions that you may still have with respect to Excel. I'll still cover this part here, the social implications of IT and all of this stuff. But like I said, really for the lecture, it's not going to go into as much detail as what you're going to get in the book. So you're probably best served by looking at what's in the book for this last section here. And I'll try to cover a couple of extra things just to give some more color or example. But the topics will be driven by what you're reading in the book. In similar way, it's kind of like where it was in the beginning of the class with the human-computer interface and whatnot. HTML, the networks, engines, and all that kind of stuff. A lot of it was really basically textbook type of stuff. So you'll be picking up a lot of this stuff. Just get it from the book. But enough of that. So let me. Oh yeah, one thing about the recitation project. Um, I have an open question with the with the staff as to how this is going to run. So you basically normally if we had a class, it would be covered in recitation. And you'll probably be working through during the recitation, but with the asynchronous class, I'm not quite sure, what's going to happen with that. Is it that, we'll put something out, the TH will put out some lectures related to it. You'll go away, do some work, and then you come back for like office hours with them or lab hours with them to help try to push this through. Okay, but it's going to be for this week here, and I spoke to the staff. They're not going to release it any earlier than was stated. So like I said, the only clarification I'm trying to get is with the asynchronous class, normally you'd be doing this during your recitation, or at least part of it during your recitation. What that means when we're doing asynchronous class, I'll have to see what that means. But hopefully we'll get enough out there, whether it's in terms of like setting up like reading material or lab hours for you to work with your TAs to get the recitation project done. Okay, all right. So let's come back to here. So what I did was I did a couple of things. I listed out all the different things from the Excel topics that we should have covered in one shape, form, or another, either through the assignments, through the recitations, or through lectures. Okay. And I remember, and I need to check this video after I record it. I know there was people saying some comments about when I was doing the editing of the formula rule. I think it's just because we had a lot of data on the sheet and my computer probably didn't have enough resolution on the recording, so it was a little bit fuzzy. Um, and I wanted to kind of show this because I think it was a bit of a problem, and it was something I tried to cover, and I think people still didn't pick up on it, so I'm going to mention it again. So remember that, this is the rules here for the conditional formatting, and you remember this where it says applies to, right? So in this one, I'm only applying the column D, which is why when the criteria is met, it only highlights this and this. If I'd highlighted, if I said this range was like, let's say to I, if you remember from my lecture, it would actually highlight the whole row up to there, all the way across, okay? Now let me go to the edit rule. This is where we had some problems. See, this was a little bit smaller, and for some reason the resolution wasn't so great, and that's why I'm coming back to this page. Which page? Oh, well, I got this selected. But anyway, here, it's important you don't put a range in here. You put like this $I2, which in this case I started from over here and taking this whole column as part of the criteria. Okay, in this case, if it's I2 is less than 0. Okay, and remember there's a and here, so that means I'm looking at the $2, which is the D column, right, was equal to furniture. So I'm doing both of those criteria, starting with the second row here, okay? That was an important thing. A lot of people put in a range there. That was a problem. So I blew it up here. I took a screenshot, I blew it up here. So hopefully this comes out better on the video. Um, putting a range here caused a lot of problems. You have to do it like this, right? So this is saying column D, furniture. This is saying column I, less than 0. Okay. Uh, if there's still questions on this for the conditional formatting, let me know. I know I got some questions on this, so I'm trying to reiterate this point. So remember this. Don't use the range that you normally do. Do these columns like this. Okay. This is for the formula on the conditional formatting. Okay. Now, let's run through this. Like I said, this week I'm kind of free to cut videos for, very quick videos for whatever you want. So just give me a shout if there's something that you want me to cover. But these are the things, essentially, you get these things down, you should be well covered for the exam, for the final exam, and you should also be in pretty good shape, just for overall. So there's only like that one last bit on the final, which is something that's kind of, you have to read the textbook and whatnot. Okay. So math sheets versus math symbols versus spreadsheet symbols. I think we kind of mentioned it, but I think the main thing here is something like this, right? You have the exponent and you have like that little caret sign there, and then you have the multiply and you have the star sign there. Okay. You probably did that for assignment 9 for your formulas. That was the only way you can get the right answer if you did stuff like this. Remember the Pemdas rule. So you have the parentheses, multiply, exponent, division, addition, subtraction. Okay. You have the workbook and the worksheets, right? So you have this whole thing as your workbook, and then you have all these tabs down here as your sheets, right? You have the formulas and functions. Remember this is important. Relative and absolute cell references. In one of the videos we talked about named cell ranges, right? You can refer to that, so you end up with something like over here, which we didn't create any name ranges, but normally if you did that you would see it here. This is just a repeat, right? You have all your typical stuff. Remember your equals is to start off your your formula, you have the caret. Remember on the mod, that's a function, so you have to do equals mod, right? These were the typical stuff. This came through on your assignment 10, I believe. I might have even did some of it in assignment 9 too. Okay. Remember the if and the if error, right? I used the if error with the VLOOKUP, and I used that to do an append. Remember the append or concatenate was with the ampersand sign. That, right? You have to do the ampersand sign, and that will concatenate two things together, right? So if I had a A and a B, so equal this, and where's my ampersand sign? And this, you got AB, right? So it's taking the values of this and concatenating or appending B to A. Okay, or this cell to this cell actually. Okay, and that's why you got that, right? And we did that when we were doing the if error with the VLOOKUP, so we can show what was the failure in the VLOOKUP, what was missing. This is the VLOOKUP. This is the stuff to calculate your mortgage payments or whatever money you're borrowing. You know, calculate your interest rate and whatnot, your principal, your interest. These are these functions here, right? You did, I believe you did the PMT as part of your assignment 10. Subtotal, that was part of your extra credit that you gave to me. And, or, and not, you remember how to do that? You actually have to do that over here, obviously. And then you have the statistical functions. You did that in the, was it assignment 10 or assignment 9? It was one of those. I also posted some stuff into the modules. Where's the modules at? Modules. Here. So I put in a couple of these into your reading material here. You had the chart types, you had to do a histogram, you had the column charts, you had the pie charts. You remember selecting on the data source, you can filter out the columns, the data sources, you can flip the columns and rows. Formatting, which is part of this, but the conditional formatting. Conditional formatting. Remember the scenario analysis where we did some goals and it fit the variables to support those goals. Important part here, pivot tables, Excel tables, filtering, sorting, and whatnot. So that's really what we have to cover for Excel. So take a look at these. Let me know. Any of these you have problems, I'll either respond via email or if there's enough people that ask questions about it, I'll post up a quick video on it. Okay? If I don't talk to you, have a good Thanksgiving, and I'll see you back here for the last week of lectures after Thanksgiving. All right, thank you.